Hello and welcome to our channel. We have a project scheduled for today, so we thought we'd take you along for the ride. We'll explain the project first and then take you on a relatively quick grow room update, and then we'll return to complete the project at hand. We're about to do a little bit of an overhaul on this area of our pepper grow. So before I started that, I figured we'd take a brief moment to just do a quick pepper growing update. You can see that our Serranos have been hacked back a little bit. We have had a decent amount of production. I'm about to actually cull these plants. First I'll harvest any of the usable peppers off of the Serranos and freeze them for future hot pepper sauce. To the left of the Serranos we have our Numex Suave orange, which is growing beautifully. We have a lot of flower drop. Don't know what's up with that. It's the same environment as the Serranos, which are producing beautifully. And the Caratino in the back, which we have kept going. I was going to cull that as well, but it's suddenly putting out an abundance of flowers for more fruit, so I'm going to opt to create its own small DWC container, utilizing an old protein powder container that I've cut out a hole for both the net pot that it's in as well as the airline tubing to be fed through. That will also free up a lot of room on this shelf area underneath our Maxsixun PB1000. It's a really great light. It's served us well for going on 2 years now. I have no complaints. There is a newer model out there which we are utilizing over our other pepper plants this time of year. Because it's not prime growing time here in the States, they offer significant sales pricing, which we took advantage of. These particular plants are underneath that other Maxsixun PB1000, which is now dimmable via remote control, although we do keep it at 100% for all lights. You can see that our Ayuyo is doing remarkably well. It is starting to bud. The buds do look healthy. Here's our other Ayuyo, which was cut back hard. So it's a little bit behind in budding, but still budding is there, just underneath the leaves. Here's our sweet ahi Cachucha plant. We see some buds forming. It's too early to tell how healthy the buds actually are. Here we have our healthy version of the Tangerine Dream plant. Beautiful rich green foliage, abundant fruit set on every possible level, very minimal flower drop. It's just a fantastic plant, as opposed to its sick sister over here, which will be culled soon. I'm just hoping for the one pepper to turn orange. It may or may not happen, but it's really not liking it here. So only the strong survive. We have a couple of very young Serrano Monte de Oros that I want to try hydroponically, keeping them as small as possible while still allowing for fruit set. I have 3 of those. Obviously 1, 2, 3. Again, only the strong 1 or 2 will survive. We'll keep them going. Our dill is due to be replanted. It's a number of months old. We don't really use much of it, but I still want to keep it going because I'm hoping for more cucumber crops in the future as we are starting some green lights, which will replace our Corintos. The green lights were abundant producers for us in this growing environment last year, so we're gonna stick with those. Our green onions are doing well. Probably should have planted a few more plants, but still it's enough to keep our semi-regular potato salad seasoned with green onion tops, so that's nice. Our bunching celery is doing well. It's in the back there. Our gypsy pepper keeps producing, even though we keep it hacked back terribly, it still sends out flowers. It's really in a unique form. I don't know how long we'll be able to keep it in that form before it topples over, so we may be hacking it back once again. But that's okay, because this one is destined for a 5-gallon Kratky setup on our back deck come next spring, late spring, early summer. Here's the largest of our 3 King Star Lingrias. I have 2 sitting next to my computer monitor upstairs under a Sansi 36-watt grow bulb, along with my ahi pineapple. For those of you who just need a bulb, I cannot recommend the Sansi 36-watt strongly enough. It's done very, very well. Obviously, the coverage is not as good as a larger panel light, but we're still getting fruits. I'll show you those in a moment. Here we have some seedlings. We have a sugar rush stripey going in this little mini greenhouse environment. We're on our heat mat. We're starting some banana peppers, some carbachis, some Brazilian starfish, some other gypsies. What else do we have here? That's gypsy. Oh, sugar rush stripeys that have not yet germinated. And here we have our beautiful Shishitos, which are putting out abundant blossoms, abundant fruiting now taking place. I've experienced 0 flower drop, which is unheard of. Let's see how close we can bring you in. See if we can pick up on some of that fruit set here. I harvested one yesterday just to try for the first time. Very thin-walled, very mild. I can see why they're great for grilling. Tomorrow I'll probably harvest 3 or 4 and toss them into a pan with some olive oil and then salt them and give them a try. Even the plants that were late bloomers are setting fruit with a decent amount of flowering going on. I'm so impressed with them. Anyone looking for a winter harvest of indoor peppers, Shishitos and Kratky do remarkably well. They really, really do. These are amazing plants. These are our upstairs peppers, for lack of a better descriptor. They generally sit just to the right of my computer monitor for my own entertainment. Our ahi pineapple is not only setting new buds and new fruit, we are seeing ripening of the old fruit. They surely are pretty. Such a beautiful, rich yellow color. And this particular plant has been growing in a 1-quart jar since April of last year. And we've kept it hacked back hard. The bugs hacked it back hard first of all when we had it outside. That lasted for a very short time. We brought it back inside. We've raised it with tender loving care under what we consider to be optimal growing conditions under our Sansi 36-watt grow bulb. And we are now seeing lovely fruit set, lovely fruit ripening. And they really do have a lovely burst of sweetness upon the first bite, followed by a significant amount of heat. They seem to be hotter in hydro, at least that's my understanding, than they would be in soil. We've thoroughly enjoyed experimenting with this as our first bocatum type of pepper. It's been a lot of fun. Our outdoor plant produced roughly 100 pods. Nothing to complain about there. These are our other 2 King Star Lingrias. This is the first one to actually start setting fruit. This was the runt of the litter, still is, but it's finally coming into its own and we're starting to see flower buds happening. Yay. And this is our Ahi Golden, which we're really looking forward to. We're seeing flower buds. They look nice and healthy for the most part. So hopefully we'll be seeing flowers soon and fruit in the not too distant future. For whatever reason, this particular plant is more prone to edema than most of the others. And that's okay. It's still relatively healthy despite the edema. The one downstairs had so much edema that we cut it back hard and we're letting it come back on its own. We figured it really just needed better root development. We never pinched the first one downstairs back. This one we did. So it just seems to be a little bit stronger. And here's our Sansi grow bulb setup. We used a pendant style fixture. It was like $10 from Amazon. And out of a cocoa whip container, I fashioned this quasi lampshade just to protect my eyes while I'm working at my computer. Since it's only 2 feet off to the side of my monitor. I cut the hole for the light itself, for the bulb itself, and then used a soldering iron to fashion some ventilation holes to help any of the heat to escape that might have built up otherwise. I don't know if it would have, but I wasn't taking any chances. As you can see, our peppers really do thrive under this light, so I have no complaints. Here we have our Corinto cucumbers, which unfortunately have underperformed for us. We have received about a handful of cucumbers already that we've harvested. We have a few more getting ready to approach the point of being able to be harvested and enjoyed. However, these really have failed for us in terms of quantity. We've now tried 5 different varieties, and the only variety that met with wonderful success for us was the green light. They're smaller beta alpha types. They don't have a richness of flavor per se. They're good. They're just not fantastic. But as far as productivity went, one plant for us produced roughly 100 cucumbers. Conservatively between 70 and 100, but I just about guarantee you it was closer to 100. We were giving them away. I gave my dad dozens of them. I gave the chickens dozens of them. We made multiple jars of pickles with them. So we're going to go back to the green lights. Maybe later in the year we'll try the Isniks because they're supposedly as good as the green lights. There's only one way to find out though. We have tried the Diva. We met with limited success with that in here. These Corintos did better than the Diva. And I'll have to look up the other 2 strains that we tried in here that just didn't work for us. And I'll post their names on the screen. Here are the green light starts. They'll be upplanted to net pots in small Kratky containers. And probably within a month they'll be ready to swap out the Corintos for these. These are just about a week and a half old at this point. I guess I've procrastinated long enough. It's time to get back to work. As you can see, I've cut back the Serranos. I now have to disconnect the airline tubing from this bin, and I need to reconnect it to the new growing vessel, the protein powder container. Once I get it all rigged up, I will come up with some way to cover the lid. Maybe I'll put foil down first. I want to block out as much of the light as I can to prevent as much algae growth as possible. So once I get everything transferred over, we'll come back and give you a look-see. One of the challenges that I'm encountering is that all of the root systems have grown together between the Caratino and the Serranos, so I'm going to try to, as gently as possible, coax them apart with as little breakage as possible. I don't know how effective I'm going to be. These things have been growing together in this container for the better part of a year now, so it's hard to tell where one plant's root system ends and the next one begins, but we're going to give it a shot. Turns out that it was far easier to separate the roots than I anticipated. I just gently lifted on this Caratino plant and slowly pulled its root system out of the other root systems, and they slid right apart with minimal breakage. I did insert the airline tubing into the new lid. I do have a check valve to prevent any backflow. I'm sure you can hear the pumps running and the gurgling going in the jar. So all's good. I can now maybe put some of my smaller peppers around the base here and give them a little bit more room to grow. I repositioned the Suave orange pepper plant so that it's more directly under the overhead light. The Maxsixun PB1000. Hopefully that will help to encourage fruit set. We'll see. We'll keep you posted. Thank you for joining us. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.